as part of my research for this ship, for this book, I spent some time on a research ship in the Gulf of Mexico where they have this thing called the dead zone. And the dead zone is a whole huge area of the coastal ocean in the Gulf of Mexico that has little or no dissolved oxygen in it. It is literally a graveyard on the bottom. And even throughout the water column of this thing, right from the bottom of the ocean there to the top, there is no life. Even the microbial structure of that water has changed. They call it the blob because it's unmixable. You can't get it to mix up and get more oxygen in there. So I went with a research crew because they said there must be some life in there. There's got to be something. And we were trawling. We were looking at this dead zone from a whole bunch of different scientific angles, to see who was living in it. And we would trawl, for example, for fish, at specific intervals, at specific layers, of levels of the water. And time after time we would trawl, and time after time we would find nothing, literally nothing in that water, to the point that the scientists said, we must have holes in our nets. It can't be that there's nothing in this water. And so we, moved the ship out, steered the ship out to where we knew there was oxygen because we were testing that. And we moved it out, and sure enough, there were the fish, tons of them. They had bugged out from this dead zone into waters where there was oxygen. But of course, a lot of creatures can't move like that, and so they stay, they die. The bottom is littered with corpses. So the year I was there, this thing was 17,000 square kilometers in area. Last year, it was 22,000 square kilometers in area. And that doesn't include the volume. So in some places, because they've never measured the volume, in some places it's just, it's narrow. In some places it goes right from the bottom to the top of the water column. And how's it caused? It's caused from, you probably know this. Who knows how this is caused? Who knows the phenomenon? I'll give a bit of a brief description. What happens is that all up and down the Mississippi River, as in so many other parts of the planet, farmers are using phosphorus and nitrogen, synthetic chemicals, to grow their plants. They're putting on too much of the chemicals. And so the chemicals are washing into the watershed right down the Mississippi. It goes off like a faucet into the mouth of the Gulf of Mexico, where it's still food for plants. The plankton love this stuff. They go crazy. This is called an algal bloom. They go nuts. They reproduce far beyond the capacity of anything to eat them up, and they die, and they fall to the bottom of the seabed, where the second part of the process takes over, and all these bacteria start to decompose all of these little plankton, these algae that are dead there, and they use up the oxygen. So literally from one little tiny spot on the seabed floor, this thing spreads every year. It comes every spring, it goes away every fall when the farmers stop using all of these chemicals on their crops. They know how to reduce the dead zone by reducing the amount of chemicals that the farmers are using. The farmers are just telling the scientists that they're the Antichrist. They're saying, no, we can use whatever we want on our crops. It doesn't matter about this dead zone down there. And so there's a plan that would actually be economic for everybody, but nobody wants to listen to it, which is one of the tragedies. The other tragedy, though, or part of it, is that there are 407 of these dead zones in global coastal waters around the world. And 3 of them, we've discovered since about 2008, 3 of them are caused not by chemical runoff, the way this other one in the Gulf of Mexico is. They're caused instead by climate change. So that means that the water shifts in the temperature of the water, shifts in temperature of the air, have caused the same phenomenon of too many algae dropping down and being decomposed and using up the oxygen in 3 huge current systems in 2 different parts of the global ocean. One is off the coast of Oregon, and it was only discovered in 2008. The other 2 are off the coast of Africa. And these are in some of the parts of the ocean that should be the most productive. They should be teeming with life. And instead they're dead zones, and they're unexpected. And they worry scientists because, why? They can spread.